Welcome to Life Happens, where Texans come to protect their legacy and prepare for the second half of life. Join your host, Attorney Kim Hegwood with Hegwood Law Group, and our weekly guest as we navigate the challenges that emerge as life happens. Now here's your host, Kim Hegwood.
Good morning and welcome to Life Happens with me, Kim Hegwood, and of course, one of my very good referral sources, Andrea Zaite, who has A to Z Geriatric Care. Good morning.
Morning. Thank you for having me.
And we're getting a lot more of this lately. Oh my God, what do I do? My parents have suddenly declined rapidly, and I have no idea, what I should be doing. And so we're finding more and more kids are definitely, unprepared. So what should they do? Like, what's the first step to kind of get things under control?
Well, one thing it did happen during Thanksgiving, particularly this year. A lot of people came to visit their families, and they hadn't seen, their mom and dad, maybe a year or so because of COVID. And then all of a sudden, they come to the house and they see that there's mail piled high on the kitchen table. Maybe the house is in disrepair or it's dirty. There's old food in the refrigerator. So uh, it's a crisis because they're like, I just realized my mom and dad are declined. And a lot of people called during the holiday because they didn't know where to turn. And the first thing I always tell kids is you have to kind of look for little clues at your mom and dad's house. When you do visit, I realize COVID has put a lot of pressure on people to stay away from the older, their mom and dad. But you have to look for little clues in the house. You have to start looking at, are they able to call for simple repairs? Have they been able to keep up with their mail? A lot of times, mail is overwhelming, and that's a really big clue. Unpaid bills, creditors calling. So you want to look for little clues so that you can stay on top of that. The most important thing, which I think you probably tell people, is you have to have that legal documentation in place.
Yes.
So having that conversation with your mom and dad about, hey, you done a medical power of attorney? Am I your medical power of attorney? May I please have a copy of that? Is very, very important. And then, of course, I really can't stress enough the importance of discussing with you, particularly that fiduciary component of, that document because, and or being on a co-signer on their bank account or just having knowledge of what exactly their bills are and what is the finances. And a lot of times that is a hard conversation to have with our mom and dad because they don't want to tell, especially that generation. They're like, it's none of your business.
Yeah.
I did the same thing, none of your business. But then the scary thing was they both became ill at the same time. And I had no idea what was happening with their finances. And it was a rush to get with our family attorney to work out some things right. I'm talking days before their death.
Oh, wow.
So you don't ever want to feel like that or be scared like that or in that position like how am I going to pay these bills? What are the bills? And be digging, digging through their cupboards and their cabinets and trying to find things. So just trying to sit down with your family and have a little bit of a conversation saying, hey, do we have this in place? And if not, let's go talk to somebody like yourself, an elder care attorney who has knowledge in this area, because I know some of the fiduciary laws have changed. And so I think that's really an important first step. The next thing I always recommend, of course, is if you can go to the doctor, the primary care physician appointment, at least once or twice so that you kind of have an idea of the relationship that your mom or dad have with their primary care physician. And also to actually get the primary care physician's knowledge of their medication. Because when you go in their medicine cabinet, they never throw away their old pills, so you don't always know what they're on. And they don't always remember, and they may be taking wrong medication. And the leading cause of somebody to be hospitalized, I would say 85% of hospitalizations today are due to people taking the wrong medication, wrong time. And particularly if that medication has to do with diabetes and hypertension, you could end up in the hospital very quickly. So
So
we
how
want to
does,
make
oh, sorry. So how does someone, find resources and things like that in the community to help?
very good question. Of course, I have a cadre of resources. So,
Me too.
like you and I, contacting us is a really good first step. Also, the a couple of magazines out there, like for example, Life is Good. In our area, the Bay area Times is good. When you go to your doctor's offices, there's some resource materials at your doctor's offices that you can peruse while you're waiting, like those local magazines that list local area caregivers. And that's, to me, the best first step. Websites like Aging Life Care Association will have agencies to them, so they can go to the Aging Life Care Association site and review area providers that have been vetted. And I think that's another thing, like talking to people, professionals, you and I, and talking to professional organizations like AARP, Area Agency on Aging, is an excellent resource because there's the Houston um, Harris County Area Agency on Aging, and then there's also the Galveston County Area Agency on Aging. And those people have a list of providers and caregivers that can help you, and they can also help you navigate who has been vetted. Uh, Area Agency on Aging doesn't necessarily vet people, but they can lead you to professionals in the field. So that's a great resource. And also, Area Agency on Aging has counselors to help you with insurance information on your Medicare. And if you have if your parents have an HMO, calling the back of the card, the customer service number on the back of the card, and asking about if there's any programs or anything available based on their insurance is also a good start.
Good. So how can an adult child be a good advocate for their parents?
The first thing that I like to recommend, again, once you kind of get some knowledge about their doctor and what their medications are, I like the kids to develop a binder that you're going to have both available at your parents' home, and also you're going to have the information available to you in a binder so that if an emergency occurs and 911 is called and you have to go to the hospital, you have this binder that will tell the emergency room people who are the doctors involved in the care of your mom and dad, what is and you want to have in the binder all their medication listed and the dosages and times that they're taken. You want to have listed in there who are the medical power of attorney, and even having a copy of that medical power of attorney paperwork available, because you're going to be the person they call. So you don't want your parents answering questions when they're really sick. And the thing about that is, people don't realize you're not cognitively able to advocate for yourself when you're very, very ill and being taken in emergently. And I think because people have splinter skills, they can say the right things, everybody just assumes that you understand everything that's going on around you. But when you are ill, you cannot, and you should never be at the hospital alone,
Yes.
ever. And especially since COVID, there is not enough staff to care for you. There are not enough people who are in the case management departments anymore to be able to guide you in the right direction. And doctors are in and out of your room in 5 minutes.
Yes. Yeah. So, why is it important to ask for and accept help?
Because there's so many agencies out there that are really not good. There's so many nursing homes that are unable to provide the proper care. And people like you and I do know, and I personally go and visit nursing homes, especially now. I need to know that there's good care there, that they have appropriate staff. I need to know that the doctors are coming on a regular basis, or nurse practitioners or physician assistants are coming daily, because you do need good follow up once you're discharged from the hospital and you're there for rehabilitation. Is it even happening? And is there enough staff to make it happen? So you should ask for help, because there's no way for you to be able to go and do all that vetting in an emergency.
So, what would you like that overwhelmed caregiver to understand?
That that their feelings are normal and natural. That it is a very difficult time in our healthcare arena, and that there is help out there. There is hope, and with proper guidance, with proper support, your family, your loved one can be as independent as possible, and they can live in their own environment with proper support, guidance, and I would say just a good overall plan. And to begin early planning these things and talking to your family about what their desires are.
Yeah. I tell everybody, in my family, we talk about everything, at the kitchen table, wherever we're at, it doesn't seem to matter. But it makes a difference because, we know what each other wants. We know, all that kinds of stuff. And, with my mom, we have, my sister keeps a list of her prescriptions and all that stuff. And when I travel
Hmm.
with her, she sent it all with me, copies of her Medicare card, all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
You giggle. She's really good about making sure that that mom has all that good stuff, in place. And so,
And when you have all those things in place, when you go somewhere emergently or you're going to the doctor, you can feel confident. And you can also have, you have your notebook there, and you know what the doctor said at the last visit. You can follow back up and say, hey, uh, last visit we discussed this. My parents are not complying, or they are complying. Compliance is a big problem that we know. And they're complying or they're not complying. And, what do we need to talk about now? So, keeping good notes, you can feel so much more confident when you have that right in front of you. I know that they're supposed to be taking this, it's not working, the blood pressure is still high. And I also recommend regular blood pressure checks at home if they're on blood pressure medication. I recommend regular, um, pricks for the diabetic finger stick, even if they'll just agree to do it once a day. That would be really great every morning, and start making routines.
perfect. Well, Andrea, I want to thank you for being on the show today. Tell our listeners how they can find you.
Yes, I have an email, amzaite@gmail.com. And I have a website, a to z geriacare.com. And also, please call 281-910 0930. I really like to get, to know everybody by phone first, and I'll help you out on the phone, and we'll schedule something. And I do also give at least a free 1 hour talk, like to see if we even want to work together or mesh, or if you're able to do it.
And so perfect. All right. Thanks for being on the show today, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
And thanks for having me again, Kim, and hopefully we'll see each other soon.
Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of Life Happens with Kim Hegwood. Be sure to tune in every Thursday at 10 a.m. wherever you listen to your podcast as we navigate through the challenges that emerge as life happens. The content of this podcast does not establish an attorney-client relationship or constitute attorney-client privilege, legal, medical, financial, or any other professional advice.